Love is a thing with wings. Each love has different wings, feathered or scaled, strong or weak as dragonflies. Andrea Gibson describes their own love in the poems Give Her and I Do, looking into the triumphs and tribulations of being queer and in love. If I hadn't sold it for its gold, I would give you the class ring that I wore when I was still a girl. If I hadn't burned it in a fire, I would give you the Valentine's for my first kiss, a boy who grew up to be a preacher and a Canadian, which seems like a contradiction, and I'm not quite sure why. If I knew exactly where to find it, I'd give you the time capsule that I buried to be opened in a million years. I'd shimmy it out of the ground and say, Here, I made this for you when I was 7. If the tooth fairy hadn't come all those times, I'd give you my smile and say, You're the reason I'm gay. And I mean that in the old-fashioned way, as in happy, but sort of in the other way, too. I would give you my name, but I'd rather have yours. So when the telemarketers call and say, With whom am I speaking? I could say it aloud. The name I was born with but did not know until the night I wiped the sweat off your arm on a dance floor in Oakland, then licked the salt off the length of my hand. Do you understand how sick you get licking the length of your hand in a nightclub? I didn't leave the bathroom for 7 days. Which is to say, I'd give you my time. My decades, even. Don't tell me to be less dramatic. Of course I've loved before, but I never gave it my all. Mostly, I gave up. You ask what makes this different, why I want to give it a whirl the size of a tornado, why I want to give it a go at every red light. I just know you make me feel like I could win the lottery with a parking ticket. I see your lipstick on a coffee cup and feel like I have never known a bruise. And I want to give it my best. And I want my best to be incredible. Because people take me seriously. But I know I'm a joke you will always get. When you're down, I want to give you my best pickup lines. Like, what's your sign? My sign's historically been stop. But since meeting you, it's changed to merch. Darling, when I gave you my heart, I gave my life my word it would not be the same heart I'd given before. I put in like 100 more doors and a record player from a real record store and a skylight. That's all yours. The day you picked me up and carried me through the airport like my goodbye had no weight, my goodbye had no weight. Right now you're sleeping next to me, making a face you would not want to know you're making. Call it the opposite of your mirror face. Call it me bringing home the gold. Call these bed sheets what was sewn from the ribbon at the end of a long race. I don't want to be anywhere but here, whispering all your nicknames from every hiding place until I give myself away. Hey Galaxy. Hey Lord of the Butterflies. Hey Grief Thief. Hey Wind Chimes. Hey Adorable Sneezer. Hey Perfect S'more. Hey Lifeboat. Hey Lifeboat. I'm yours. I do. But they say we can't, because you're a girl and I'm a girl, or at least something close. So the most we can hope for is an uncivil union in Vermont. But I want church bells. I want rosary beads. I want Jesus on his knees. I want to walk down the aisle while all the patriarch smiles. Well, I guess that's not true. But I do want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to know that 50 years from now, when you're in a hospital room, getting ready to die, when visiting hours are for family members only, I want to know they'll let me in to say goodbye. Because I've been 50 years memorizing how the lines beneath your eyes form rivers as you cry. I've held my hand to the ocean of your cheeks saying, Baby, flow with me. Because 50 years I've watched you grow with me. 50 years of you never letting go of me, through nightmares and dreams and everything in between. From the day I said, buy me a ring. Buy me a ring that will turn my finger green so I can imagine our love as a forest. Because I want to get lost in you. And I swear I grew like a flower every hour of the 50 years we were together. That's not to say we didn't have bad days, but when morning came we were laughing. And yes, there were times we were both half in and half out the door, but I never needed more than the stars of your grin to lead me home. For 50 years, you were my favorite poem. I'd read you every night knowing I might not understand every word, but that's okay, because the lines of you were the closest thing to holy I'd ever heard. You'd say, this type of love has to be a verb. We are the paint on a slick canvas. It's going to take a whole lot to stick, but when we do, we'll be a masterpiece. And we were. From the beginning, living in towns that frowned upon our hand-holding, folding up their stares like hate notes to hide away in our pockets so we could pretend they weren't there. You'd say, fear is only a verb if you let it be. Don't you dare let go of my hand. That was my favorite line. That, the time we saw two boys kissing in the streets of Kansas. We both broke down crying because it was Kansas. You don't expect to see anything but corn in Kansas. We were born again that day. I cut your cord and you cut mine, and the chords of time played a concerto of hope. We could feel the rope unwind, feel the noose of hate loosening from all the years of people like you aren't welcome here. People like you can't work here. People like you could not adopt. So we had a lot of cats and dogs, and one time, even a couple of monkeys that you taught to sing. You were crazy like that, and I was crazy about you. On nights you couldn't sleep, I'd lie awake for hours counting sheep for you, and you would rewrite the rhythm of my heartbeat with the way you held me in the morning, resting your head on my chest. And I swear my breath turned silver the day your hair did. And I swear that marigolds grew in the folds of my eyelids the first time I saw you, and they bloomed the first time I saw you dance to the tune of our kitchen kettle in our living room. In a world that could have left us hard as metal, we were soft as nostalgia together. For 50 years we feathered wings too wide to be prey, and we flew through days strong and through days fragile as sandcastles at high tide. And you would fold your love into an origami firefly, and you'd throw it through my passageways until all my hidden chambers were filled with lanterns. Now every trapdoor, every pore of my heart is open, because of you, because of us. So I do want to be in that room with you, when visiting hours are for family members only. I want to know they'll let me in. I want to know they'll let me hold you as I sing.